ban. Navi's turn to ban. Alliance's turn to pick.
Treant Protector.
Navi's turn to pick.
Dark Seer. Monkey King.
Alliance's turn to pick. Ten seconds remaining.
Oh.
5 seconds remaining.
All right, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, to the Summit 7 European qualifying action coming at you. And we have an El Clasico coming at you as well. We got Alliance versus Navi here, best of 3. And on the real, this is actually a pretty big matchup because, well, not only with the history of these teams, but this is the winner bracket finals for these two teams being matched up here. The winner of this going to the grand finals of these qualifiers. The loser will be knocked down to the loser's bracket. So, you know, pretty big deal here. Again, ultimately the prize to the Summit 7 house there, which is going to set to happen in mid-June, as you saw in that pre-roll that we just played for you. It's a $100,000 prize on the line. So, you know, it's definitely quite a bit here. But looking forward to, no doubt, what's going to be a great best of 3. Was these two, again, classic organizations going at it. So, excited to be here, as I'm sure you can tell. Hopefully you guys are as well. And I got a co-caster that is just as excited, I'm sure. I'm Breaky CPK, by the way, and I'm joined by my co-caster, Tsunami, here. Tsunami, how's it going?
I'm absolutely excited. I mean it in the nicest possible way when I say that 2013 me would be honored that I get to cast this match. And, you know, the rosters have changed, the patches have changed, the teams have changed, but at the end of the day, it's a storied history. And I'm not going to focus on the, you know, past tournament history of each of these teams. It's the legacy that they carry. And right now, in recent history, Alliance definitely has a bone to pick with Navi. They haven't played too much in the past 6 months. In fact, they've only played 2 best of 3s, or I believe 2 best of 3s, 4 matches overall. But most recently was one just a few days ago for the, I believe, Epicenter qualifiers, in which Navi basically took Alliance to school, and in the closing match of that series, it was like a 20-minute GG with General rolling up with the double Crystallis Darkseer. So yeah, Alliance definitely want to have a vengeance against the Navi after that recent performance.
So, yeah, no, I was looking at that myself, and it's safe to say Alliance, again, they want their revenge to move forward here, and again, in this matchup that is definitely, you know, make up for what happened there. But we got a draft to talk about, and this is definitely making it even that much more exciting, because so we have Treant Protector, Crystal, and now an Enigma even coming out for Alliance, by the way. But Darkseer, Monkey King, Jakiro. Now, whenever you first see a Jakiro, you usually think perhaps support, of course, as rare as we see the hero. Just, was it even yesterday? I want to say it was yesterday. Dendi actually ran mid Jakiro behind. It was this very impressive, you know, kind of 4-1 strategy. They actually ended up drafting a Morphling in the end on top of that, in the hands of Pycat. And it was just very impressive play from Navi. But Jakiro matched up very well against TA in that case, in the middle matchup. And they ultimately won that in a pretty good fashion. So Jakiro mid is possible here, to say the least, from Navi.
It's possible, and it's I guess one of those non-traditional, definitely non-traditional by a long shot, but one of the TA counters that everyone else has in the back of their minds. So traditionally you're like, oh, okay, well, there's Venomancer, there's Viper, there's easy DOT heroes, but Jakiro is a strong laner in general. It doesn't necessarily have to be some sort of counterpick strategy. The fact that it's relatively long range hero. It's not like 600 ranged as many other traditional, like, it's not Lena range or anything like that, but it's still tanky, good damage. Liquid Fire is exceptional, and it's exceptional whenever people consider Jakiro support. So just the fact that you even have to wait so long until Liquid Fire gets maxed out, and then people are like, it's still a damn good spell. If you're managing to get solo experience, solo farm, Jakiro is a terrifying hero to go up against. Especially for a hero like Enigma, because Enigma, Crystal Maiden, these are heroes with channeled ultimates, and ones that don't really want to have to deal with long-range stuns, and Jakiro has that in spades with Ice Path. And so, right now, it's still on the fence. There's no real commitment by Na'Vi saying that this is where we want to put any of our lanes, to be honest. Like, Darkseer could be going anywhere, Vengeful could be a support or a core. Most likely a core, seeing as how I don't really think a support Venge would be fitting in unless if Na'Vi go for an extremely greedy carry option, which they could still do. So Na'Vi are keeping their cards close to their chest, whereas Alliance, they're showing off a Naga pick already.
Alliances turn to ban. 10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time.
Yeah, Alliance are... this fifth ban is unsurprisingly taking them a while because there are so many options to consider. They've already banned out a few, roles, so both teams showing respect in the first bans. Alliance banning out Dendi Magnus, and Na'Vi banning out that Jonas fan Clockwork, and so right off the bat, both teams ruled out a few signature possibilities, but you still don't really know what to expect as Alliance. There are lots of options. Do you ban a support because maybe it is a core Venge? Do you ban out a mid because maybe it's not a mid Jakiro? Or do you ban out a carry because Na'Vi still haven't really picked a true traditional one position, and it looks like they're considering it to be a non-mid Jakiro.
Na'Vi's turn to pick. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
And same thing with Alliance, like they were pretty conservative with their draft as well. You didn't know that this Naga would be mid until the Batrider pick came out. You don't know where this Batrider may be going because they have this Enigma as well. So right now it's kind of curious who's going to be... I'm assuming they're going to run some aggressive try with the Naga. Let Batrider... aggressive try with the Batrider, I suppose? Or the Enigma? This is actually very weird. I don't know how they're going to lane this. It's going to be a mid-Naga almost certainly, unless if they want to run a mid-Batrider, but that is not something that people have been doing for a long time.
God, yeah, no, that's a good point, because, even on Alliance, I still stuck up with Na'Vi, but how is Alliance planning to lane this? Storm Spirit is going to be the final pick, so it is going to be a mid-option in the end. They go with the Dendi Storm Spirit, most likely. Pycat, of course, ends up on the Vengeful, and then Biver will end up in the hands of Jakiro as far as playing that support role. So as far as who's playing what for Alliance, they're still keeping us guessing.
Yeah, they are.
Okay, Loda Naga.
So Loda Naga, so safe lane Naga, limp bat, or some mid Batrider.
Yeah, it is going to be a mid bat. And I was going to say, maybe does he match up well against Jakiro? Was that the thing? So perhaps like they were almost... But they banned out the Shadow Fiend, so it's like...
Yeah.
Not really, I don't know.
And
one of this catch here.
I suppose so, and I don't really feel like So the advantage of putting Bat Rider generally wins like all 1v1 situations. So it's never a bad idea to put a Bat Rider in a mid lane. It's just that as of recently, not even recently, like as of the past year and a half or so, Bat Rider is able to do so much more in a 2v1 situation because not a lot of heroes can deal with 2v1s or hell even 3v1s as well as a Bat Rider. So you're taking away some of the strength. It's same thing with like Broodmother. A lot of times, yeah, Broodmother can just completely decimate a 1v1 situation, but why bother spending that kind of resource when you can have her in a much more difficult lane? So they're going to be hedging their bets that an early farmed Bat Rider will be able to not only bully out a Storm Spirit, or at least win the matchup against a Storm Spirit, but will likely be able to do something with an early Blink, or early Drum, early Yules, whatever limp opts to go for. He's going to have a lot of farm much quicker than anyone on Na'Vi is going to be able to deal with the kind of presence of Bat Rider.
All right, you know, it's always a fun matchup in these two teams, as you said. It's completely different rosters from back in TI3, but at the same time, it's still, they always bring for some entertaining series, no doubt, and we're setting up to have a good one right here, at least in game number 1, with the draft alone. But to start things off, you got EGM very deep. He did get that early level in the Nature's Guys, and Dream Protectors have been kind of interesting to watch as of late. I feel like we've seen so many different styles of play from the beginning. You know, sometimes they just completely hold off on the point. Other times they'll get that lead sheet right away. Or, you know, in this case, you know, get the Nature's Guys to start scouting around. But it ultimately kind of tends to be the usual build in the end. I feel like where they all end up maxing out the living armor. He's still played as that, you know, kind of just movable ward in a sense, and also protecting teammates and towers in the end. So
yeah, EGM has historically, and things have not changed in recent history, been a very, very selfless 5 position. He will oftentimes, like, you'll question his positioning, but in the end, he's gathering data for his team, he's keeping his team safe, and he does it all at the sacrifice of his own farm. But I say that, and he punches Dendy, steals his bounty rune, and it's going to deal a fair amount of damage with this Orb of Venom.
Well,
so
top lane too, Lotus actually taking a lot of pressure here. He will survive, but yeah, that was close, but Loda actually did get the rune. So as you mentioned though, EGM stole that bounty rune over here, so they actually do get the 3-to-1 bounty rune take there in favor of Alliance.
And it's not too big of a deal for Loda to get a little bit of damage after burn through regen early on, because like you said, they have a Train Protector, and EGM will almost certainly be maxing out the living armor very early on. Now the question is, where are these Alliance heroes going to be finding farm? Because it seems like this Darkseer and this Monkey King are going to be hanging around together for a little bit early on, which has been a trend recently. You let the roamer secure early farm for your offlaner, in this case Monkey King securing farm for general, and doing a damn good job at zoning out. Handskin already down to like half HP just because of an Ion Shell, and EGM can just kind of bother Seneko, which actually takes him down to like half. I always forget Train Protector's damage.
Yeah, that with an Orb of Venom himself, so definitely a lot of harassment on the Monkey King. Gonna kind of force him out, and General's now finding himself in kind of an awkward spot. He doesn't have Surge just yet, so he's not level 2, so has to be somewhat careful. Puts up that Ion Shell though, gonna fight off EGM, but now Loda even assisting. And pops that Riptide, getting General pretty low. Monkey King, though, he's running as the Courier. And all of a sudden, pops out right there. But, and yeah, they're going to be back and forth. Seneko loves to use this mischief here on Monkey King. I feel like, you know, I've cast a Navi a couple of times here recently in this event alone. And every time they get that Monkey King, he's constantly popping in and out of the mischief. I don't know if it actually truly does anything, or if it's just more of a troll factor, but you see right there, he's just doing it constantly.
Yeah, I mean, to an extent, sometimes against a Train Protector it might be useful because you are hiding off the minimap when you're inside of Mischief, and so a lot of times heroes will be like walking around, they have vision, but they don't have eyes on the minimap, and they'll be like, oh, I don't know where he is.
Oh, Jonas, by the way.
Jonas and fam.
He's in trouble.
Yeah, Liver is definitely intimidating Jonas and Finn, having to burn the offlane shrine, which it's not too big of a deal. There's no one else in the offlane right now. It's just Enigma, because right now Bat Rider's chilling mid.
You see Monkey King setting up mid. Yeah, he's trying to get that Courier, if anything. They're pinging it out, actually. I believe they know it's in the area.
Oh, Seneko triggered tower aggro.
Yep. Lump nose. And trying to get the Courier safe, but he's look at this. He's moving it as a tree. And the Courier's gonna go the other direction. Well, Seneko, he really is living up to the name of Mischief here. And really trying his darnest, but good microing coming out from Alliance side as a whole, and Limp specifically, I'm sure in that case. The courier alive, so well played right there. And remain without a first blood, although again it was close on Jonas and Fan, took a lot of pressure from Jakiro, but he managed to stay alive. So he's been jungling, he was jungling from the beginning. He got those boots first actually, right off the bat, and just went right into the jungle, but he's looking to transition into what he currently has queued up of the Arcane Boots into a Hannah Midas here.
Yeah, it's pretty reasonable to expect some sort of invasion as an Enigma this game, because Monkey King has very easy time finding you in the jungle. Obviously, Jakiro is very, very strong with very few levels, and so opting not to do anything like an Iron Talon and just playing it safe with boots first, and he's going to be fine in this offlane. It's not too big of a deal if you're letting a Vengeful Spirit fear for him, because it's not like an Anti-Mage or a Terrorblade or the Naga Siren. It's a hero that will get outscaled by what Alliance have, but Na'Vi are not too concerned about that. They're trying to make sure that this game ends before 40 minutes or so.
Now, I know Batrider mid is somewhat unique as of late, at least. I guess he has history being there to an extent, but lately, again, he's more of that off lane. But this is a very unique build as well as far as items go. Boots into a magic wand here early on in this game. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah, it's surprising to complete it into the full wand. Getting a stick against a Storm Spirit is very typical, because he's going to need to be using Remnant to farm, especially against a Batrider, because it's just such an intimidating lane for a Storm Spirit, having to deal with all the sticky napalm slow and the turn rate slow and all that. Finishing it in the full wand is surprising, and it's not like he's making benefit of the extra charges, but I'm sure he's using the extra stats to his advantage and completes out the bottle afterwards, so it's just a Batrider who wants to stay very, very safe in lane, doesn't want to have to do anything crazy, doesn't want to have to get rotated on, just wants to sit back and farm.
Arcane Boots have been picked up by Enigma down here, so Jonas Fanny also has some pretty good lane control throughout. Of course, he's using the Demonic Conversion here to try to push back the lane, if anything, denying his own creeps, I'm sure. Gonna get back at the tower. Liquid Fire comes out, but just fine. EGM even gonna come on over as well and perhaps give a presence of some kind of gank here at the bottom.
Yeah, this is somewhat the disadvantage of having a Enigma in the offlane against a Jakiro specifically. Yeah, you do have exceptional lane control and you're going to be getting experience, but Jakiro is just fine with that. It's a license for him to get free liquid fires onto the tower, and so far EGM has not taken his second point in Living Armor, actually opted to put the second point in Leech Seed. But you need to be careful, because if you continue drawing back the creep so heavily, this tier 1 tower will go down before EGM really gets a chance to heal it back up.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's already taken a lot of damage. Almost half of its life is already gone right here. So, Liquid Fire doing work. Top lane, Monkey King, Bramble Spring in. The Riptide used right there, but he should be fine. Harassing more. General is out of mana currently as Hanskin runs over, but don't think he's going to be able to make a play either. So we're almost 6 minutes into this game and still remain without a first blood here. Pretty passive game for the most part earlier on.
It's passive because Na'Vi are making sure it stays passive. Dendi has pretty much forced himself out of lane. It's not necessary to go into the lane go into the jungle this quickly against a Batrider, but this is why Batrider mid was so dominant, and this still continues to be quite dominant, because you have a really tough time against the high levels of a Batrider in a 1v1 situation. So Limp has been getting pretty much free farm, allows the Enigma to... He hasn't been going into the jungle, but he could if he wanted to, but he's content just staying here, and he has to stay here, otherwise his tower will almost certainly go down. But you know, right now Na'Vi are relatively content with how the laning phase goes. It's Storm Spirit that's going to be the real deciding factor once the kind of roaming phase begins.
I was gonna say you're content, but and I guess I kind of get that, you know, this early on in the game, it's not like you're too worried about the Naga just yet. She's going to be getting her decent farm, and she's gonna take a while though before she really becomes that scary threat. You know, at least needs the Radiance and then so on there. You know, things like the Manta Style, the Octarine, even eventually later on in the game. But you know, at the same time, a passive game in the long run does feel like it's gonna favor Alliance, though, right? As bottom lane, they're pushing this aggressively.
Doesn't have lasso though, but Biver is still just a Jakiro at the end of the day.
You know what he's trying to do? He's trying to wait till level 7, I'm sure.
Oh yes, I think you're right. He might have to go now though.
Well, he's just going to open right now actually, so no lasso, but the Flame Break pushback, and it is more than enough damage to draw that first blood out right there. So he gets level 7 after the fact and will level up that lasso, but well played indeed. So, but yeah, it goes back to the idea. The overall passive game feels like it'll favor Alliance if it goes too long though.
Yeah, that's definitely true, because for one thing, Monkey King will fall off as time progresses, and Storm Spirit needs to be able to find picks to really solidify a place in the late game, as Loda actually gets a kill on General with the help of EGM.
Yeah, caught that right there. It's just opening from EGM with a bash, and then simply Loda follows it up with the net. And at the point, Darkseer was already about, like, 30% life, maybe. He just did not expect an open
stun onto Loda, into Boundless Strike, into Primal Spring, but she has sleep.
The sleep at the last second, and she's gonna walk it off. Nothing more frustrating than being slept like that right as you're just about to have the kill on the Naga Siren.
Yeah, especially because a lot of Nagas, it's kind of like to an extent, where do you want to make sure that you have a stronger offensive lane by skipping your saving spell for more damage or something, as now Biver. Yeah, he's gonna be fine in the bot lane. But yeah, sometimes you don't really expect it. You think that, okay, this Naga has been basically free-farming, she's not concerned about us roaming, she's not gonna have Song, but it's possible that Loda may have either been sitting on the skill point or just, you know, wanting to play it safe, and he gets out very comfortably. And yeah, these roams of Na'Vi are not yielding anything right now. You'd think that the score would be reversed with the way the draft went, but right now Alliance are up 2 kills.
Yeah, Alliance 2-0, 9 minutes into this game. Again, overall a pretty passive game, but it goes back, you know, who's that really favoring more? I mean, Storm Spirit, Dendy Storm Spirit, we've gotten to see this, we saw this on the 1 series. God, I forget who they're playing now. Before this last one. Anyways, the point is, we saw Dendy in 2 of those games. I mean, he just absolutely went off as Storm Spirit. He got 20-plus Bloodstone charges, I want to say, in both of those games that he played it. So, he is working on that Bloodstone and looking to be active sooner than later, but you know, he still hasn't been that mark just yet. I mean, he's level 8 now, he has a Soul Ring to go with the early Arcane Boots, of course, but is that concerning almost to you that he hasn't really moved around just yet, despite almost being 8.5 here even?
Not yet. The fact that right now, even though the kill score looks ugly, right now Na'Vi managed to take a tier 1 top, and the tier 1 bot is also almost dead, and this is one of the biggest advantages of having a Treant Protector, is that you keep all your towers up, and when you have all your towers up, Storm Spirit doesn't have very much room to play around, because TP rotations are very easy, and you can't really invade too deep into the enemy territory. But if you lose all these tier 1 towers, even if Storm Spirit wasn't roaming on early in the game, he'll find a place just because there's going to be so much more map control from Na'Vi.
I want to say it was Pro Dota they were playing right there. Anyways.
I think that was, yeah.
You know, Dendy almost runs right into them, actually, as they pick up the bounty rune in front of him. Hanskin does specifically. Crystal Maiden's like, oh, I gotta get out of here, though!
He's actually... Ooh.
Dendy almost got him. Good positioning with the tree, though, for the line of sight.
Yeah.
There to get out. So 4 heroes down here for Na'Vi, but again, they can't really collapse for that kill. Instead, Vengeful back into the lane. And, Vengeful right here, kind of going...
Some fan inside, near tier 1, he's gonna probably go down.
I thought he might have gone for the black hole right there, but Lasso and turn on the Storm Spirit, however. Hanska here to assist with the freezing field, and down goes Dendy. So they lose the Enigma, but, you know, given the turn kill to Storm Spirit, we're not even done just yet. Pycat's still hanging around. He wants this kill on EGM, but at what cost for him? He's starting to burn right now. He's at half life. Dragon Breath coming out, swats him in aggressively, and they get the kill. Flame Break pushback though. Now Nagasar is running the party. She has a sleep as well, but Riptide going to be activated right there, level 4, doing plenty of damage. Finishes off the job on Vengeful, and the freeze now on Seneko. Seneko can't kill Hanskin. He gets the system from Jakiro, but Seneko also going to fall. No, the Ice Path at the last second, but Limp is not done just yet. With that Blink Dagger of his, he jumps in, and he sets up the couple more kills. As shown us a fan, that's how long that fight was going on. He eventually resurrects and joins back in and helps to get the final kill of the fight. So in the end, Alliance, though, 4 for 3, they come out on top.
4 for 3 and Lotus survives. It's all really because Storm Spirit went in, got lassoed, and really well staggered Frostbite by the Crystal Maiden, because Storm Spirit still had enough HP and mana to escape after that lasso, but even with just a level 1 Frostbite, you're rooted, you can't ball lightning. Now Loda hopefully won't abuse the lease on life he was given, as now he gets stunned.
Song?
To Boundless.
Song? Song? There we go. Sing that song. Oh, that's interesting. See the time right there, as he pointed out.
Yeah, so I noticed that in a previous game that I was casting. Yeah, you can see the players hitting times and doing... I think the reason was because there are those team audio lines, right? And so Valve just changed it so that you can see the team audio and see the team chat. But it's not team chat, it's just like team chat wheels. But yeah, I think that's what it was. I think that had to be the reason.
That's kind of curious. I mean, that's actually kind of somewhat informative, actually, because you know what he's
Oh
doing
no, I
right
love
there
it
is
because a
obviously
lot of
letting that
times,
song
yeah,
go
a lot of times teams will take Roche timers, and as a caster, you never got to see those, and I used them in game, and I would rely on them. And now we have the HUD thing showing Roche time, but like, still, I'm super glad that we can see clocks now.
Yeah, no, that's actually pretty cool. So obviously, you know, pointing out it's 160-second cooldown. They know this, or 180, excuse me. They
Exactly,
know,
on the Naga sleep, and they timed it. Yep.
Gonna have that ready to go now for 3 minutes from now. But obviously, the most important thing of what happened right there is that Lotus survives again, and now he's back into the jungle. He's just about got that Sacred Relic, only about 1,000 gold off, and then the Radiance soon to follow. Is this some pretty good timing at a Radiance? It feels like it is.
Oh yeah, it's exceptional timing, especially because he's been showing up to fights. He just hasn't been perpetually farming, which, you know, arguably showing up to fights is what has him so high in net worth. But yeah, he's very comfortable right now. And right now, Viver and Seneko going in on Crystal Maiden. Black Hole is up.
Yeah, they're deep. Black Hole is going to be activated. Pulls him both in. Monkey King goes down. The Freezing Field assisting plenty of damage. Akira goes down. The Lasso brings in Darkseer. He's like, hey, feel the pain of the Freezing Field as well. And Jonas and Fan will finish the job. They ran into a big trap right there to Na'Vi. It feels like a 3-0 in favor of Alliance. And this is early momentum, a 3,000 net worth lead now that it just seems like it's potentially going to get worse with the Snaga's success here.
Yeah, Monkey King only saw Handskin and Crystal Maiden once that smoke popped. It was nighttime, so you didn't really have the best vision, and they were like, oh sweet, free Crystal Maiden kill. Unfortunately, everyone else in Alliance was in the vicinity, and even then, fighting near the enemy shrine is never a good idea, especially when it's, you know, ready to be activated, but slap a Black Hole in a Freezing Field on top of that, and Limp with 6k net worth has a very early Blink Dagger, which is to be expected from a mid-Bat Rider, and that's a recipe for disaster. And now Na'Vi trying to push this mid-tier 1. They know that a lot of expensive cooldowns have been spent, and if they can manage to get this, it's, you know, a pretty good retribution for having to lose 3 heroes.
Yeah. Tower is arguably the most important one earlier on in the game, of course, but they're trying to counter-push the top lane in the meantime, but they do get that mid-tier 1. See top lane, Jonas Fan pushing it, but Port's coming in now. Dendi gonna go for it. No, he's just gonna simply clean up the creep wave. Keep farming from there. Look at this Na'Vi though. They're sneaking into the Roshan pit now. And this should be done, because, I mean, it's not happening the quickest, but I don't think Alliance has any clue.
Yeah, that's a very confident timing, and it's gonna work, but the fact that they're getting away with it is a really good shot call by Na'Vi, because, you know, you don't have any of those typical Let's Go Roche items like a Desolator or a Solar Crest or whatever, and you don't really have any typical heroes like Slardar or Ursa, but they're going for it, and it's definitely paying dividends, and they're gonna put it on Dendi, who has a freshly completed Bloodstone, and that's a massive spike for Na'Vi, and man, I love being able to see these clocks. I'm so happy.
That is fun. That is fun. They built both teams spamming it out right there. So, as we could see, so yeah, again, having that timer ready to go and figuring when it's going to respawn now, but like I said, it's back to just some nice information to be able to have, and they're at the top level, they're on top of stuff like that. But that means, Aegis, I'm guessing, was picked up a Storm Theory, right? Yeah.
Correct.
Very good hero
And
for that.
he wants to abuse it. This is not going to be some sort of farming Aegis. He wants to go in, get out, especially now that he has a double damage rune. Now Dendi just needs to find an opening, and Monkey King is finding an opening on the bot lane.
Yeah, now Midnight Pulse can drop trees very quickly, so if they have an idea of that with a Firefly for that matter, that he's in the area.
A lot of TPs on the bottom half. Unfortunately, Dendi is still in the mid lane.
Wukong's Command coming out. They're gonna get the 3 on top of the Ice Path right there. Meanwhile, Limp gets away though. Song comes out. Jonas a fan. The Wukong's Command will finish him off. Loda himself is running. Has a Sacred Relic, but Dendi's like, I'm here now. He takes out Loda right there and finishes off a bit of a streak as well. Pycat actually credit for the kill. And
now Handskin, he's next on the list.
Yeah, he's also going to get picked off as well. So that was a beautiful setup, and the patience for Na'Vi paid off right there.
And patience from Dendi especially. He was still in the mid lane, spent some time farming up a jungle camp while that initiation was going on by the rest of his team, but he knew that if he jumped in, Loda was still going to sleep. Doesn't really matter. Dendi with 1 point in Electric Vortex, now 2 points after that fight, can't really disable a Naga Siren for long enough, but sees the opening, gets the perfect angle to jump on Loda, gets a lot of ball lightning damage, and walks out of that fight with 2 Bloodstone charges and still the Aegis up.
Is that, in hindsight, sure, but was that maybe an over-ambitious move by Alliance, considering the Radiance wasn't finished yet on Naga? They were pushing like that so aggressively at Tier 2 tower without the Radiance in full.
Yeah, I think they were banking on the fact that they would be able to just get out with a sleep if things got really bad, but Na'Vi were smart and they all ported underneath the tier 2, and so Alliance were like, huh, I guess no one's defending this. Looks to be like a free tower, but it most certainly wasn't.
Yeah. So that's going to delay it a little bit, but you look back at Naga and the pattern, of course, almost has it now, so going to be coming up in these next couple of minutes at least, you figure. I was also mentioning, though, back to Vengeful real quickly, the choice, she went right into a Hooded Defiance here. And then the Ring of Aquila, and then now she's going to be going to full on Hurricane Pike, but Hooded Defiance, heavy priority on such an item. There's a lot of magic damage, though.
Yeah, I've been seeing it more and more, as now he's probably going to get hooked by Limp if they can find the opening.
There we go, lasso backwards, EGM. Puts that lead seed on, Hansuke with the freeze. Loda gets picked off elsewhere, though.
Yeah, like Dandy, wow, okay.
Nice turn kill up there. There was a couple up there, looks like, but they do get the kill on the Darkseer, and Pycat gonna keep his distance, and they know support's coming in, so Alliance is gonna
Dandy
look
has
to
full
retreat.
mana. He can go if he wants, but doesn't have any vision. Yeah, being able to kill off Loda, that's great timing, and I'm assuming it's because they had this aggressive ward on the cliff. Actually, that may have been placed after the fact, but whatever the case, a very valuable kill, because yet again, Nagasire and Loda falls a little bit further behind on completing that recipe for the Radiance, and still, Dendi has the Aegis, and we'll have it probably just for like another minute and a half now, so time is whittling down, but that also means that you can't go on Dendi. You can't lasso him, even if it was up, and you can't really expect to get a kill. And the team with the Treant Protector is actually only about to have one more outer tower remaining at 19 minutes as Dendi goes in, finds the Bat Rider.
Limp, Ice Path. Boundless Strike hits there as well, but the song comes out and Alliance wants to fight this. They do have not an overgrowth, so they got a Black Hole. The Black Hole going to be used right there on top of the Vengeful, as well as Shakiro. They're both should fall throughout this. And it also caught Seneko in the midst of it as well, actually. So a 3-for-0 turn. The triple kill for Loda, actually. And yeah, he has the Radiance now. Going to be coming out to him if he didn't before. So that's huge for Alliance. Beautiful setup.
And this is the reason why they picked this draft. I mean, Bat Rider getting initiated is not the reason, but Sleep into Black Hole is such good counter-initiation or initiation, especially because a lot of Navi's heroes need to be able to be in close quarters to fight. Darkseer, you gotta get in close to get that vacuum wall. Storm Spirit, even though he's a ranged hero, he basically plays almost like a melee hero with how close he gets to your team, and same thing with Monkey King. Wukong's command is like, hey, I want to fight here, but Black Hole is like, no, you don't want to fight here.
Yeah. Another interesting thing I want to point out, well, first off, Dendi does have the 15 charges now on the Bloodstone, so again, he is starting to accumulate those charges, and at least he stayed alive there, so keeping those up. But Treant Protector, going the Solar Crest, which is great, but he chose to get the Talisman first over the full Medallion.
Yeah, I mean, I would assume it's because he had a lot of gold, and so technically, you know, it's a much bigger gap for a support hero to complete 1450 gold in one burst, rather than getting the piecemeal of Medallion, which is just like the most expensive component is 550 gold. And so it's not like it was intentionally, it's like, oh, I'm gonna evade bot lane lasso onto Monkey King.
Yeah, very ambitious dive right here, especially near the tower. And Olympus, he's gonna pay for it with his life. He may get the kill on Seneko, he will, but he dies. And yeah, he was basically just hoping that nobody would port in, and that wasn't gonna be the case.
No, not with a Storm Spirit, and he gets one more kill before he gets the kill on the Monkey King before he dies, which is nice, but that just ended up giving Dendi even more gold for killing off the Bat Rider. And now Dendi's sitting comfortably at the highest net worth. Despite having that unpleasant laning phase against a mid Bat Rider, he is more than recovered. 16 Bloodstone charges, working on the meanwhile top lane.
Yeah, Overgrowth to open on this. Fiber will put the Ice Path out. Vengeful, though, he's netted up. They want to finish off Fiber, but Vengeful, and he'll take him out. Dendi, he wants to turn that, though. Freezing Field activated, however, the sleep comes out, and Alliance is going to look to retreat now. Black Hole, oh, he used a BKB, by the way. Did Jonas Fan that? That had to be a miscue right there.
Yeah.
As they were going in, but Jonas Fan puts the Malthus stun now. It's a vacuum Polden, though, with the wall. Now comes the Malthus strike. It's almost worse now for Alliance. It seems like the song kind of screwed them up of sorts as far as the momentum in the fight. And now Seneko in the front lines. He's going to be netted up, though. And that Radiance Burn of Loda doing plenty, as well as the Fire Burn itself. So Alliance will clean up in the end on the Monkey King, but it seemed a little sloppy there from Alliance.
I don't really know how to justify that BKB usage, you know, other than the fact that if he used it before the sleep came out, but even then, you know that Naga Siren's going to have sleep, and the other justification is, oh, okay, if I have Black Hole, then we can go and turn something around with this defensive sleep. We can turn it into an offensive sleep. But yeah, Black Hole was still on cooldown. It's off cooldown now, but now his BKB is on cooldown. So yeah, definitely a bit of miscommunication. And as a result, they're almost certainly going to lose this top tier 2 and the last outer tower for their team.
So I meant to bring that up as he's building it, but as we see now, it's down to 9 seconds unfortunately. But again, you really just want it during a Black Hole, if anything. Why did he rush it though, you think? What, again, the only stopper they do have is that swap on a core Vengeful at this point. Is that basically why they just want a free Black Hole?
Because, yeah, I would think that even with Dendi escaping, he's gonna get out. I would think that because of Swap's presence that Enigma wouldn't go for a BKB first, because normally if it's something like you're up against a Beastmaster, for example, then you're like, okay, well, you know, BKB's not gonna really do that much for me this game, even though there are other stuns that I will be blocking, like this game, Magic Missile, Boundless Strike, Ice Path, Vacuum, Electric Vortex, which, you know, those are all easy, relatively easy at disabling an Enigma Black Hole. The fact that there's one BKB piercing stun, period, is usually enough to discourage and make you want to go for something like a Linken's instead, but Jonas and Fan goes for the BKB first and isn't even considering a Linken's, in fact going for a Rod just to deal with Dendi's Storm Spirit.
It's fair because, again, he's up to 18 charges now. Dendi is doing the Storm Spirit things, a 4-1 and 3, and that working now to follow, and he's just going to become deadlier and deadlier. So, yeah, the Rod of Atos, as rare of an item that is, it's good against the likes of Storm Spirit as you're getting at, and it's definitely a nice way to help try to stop him ideally. But yeah, I'm with you. It seems a little odd to kind of rush into the BKB. And it's not even meaning that he should have got the Linken's. It just feels like instead maybe just go more all-out utility items for the team.
Even something like a Greaves or something like that, which this Orchid on Storm Spirit is going to have so much value, because pretty much every one of Alliance's heroes will be screwed by the initiation of a Storm Spirit Orchid, because, you know, you Orchid the Enigma, then he's not going to be able to Black Hole. You Orchid the Naga Siren, she's not going to be able to sleep. You Orchid the Treant Protector, he's not going to be able to Overgrowth. And so, after this Orchid is completed, if Dendi manages to get an early BKB, then he's totally bulletproof for pretty much all of what Alliance have to offer, aside from Overgrowth and Black Hole. Well, okay, so Overgrowth, Black Hole, Lasso, those are all things that, yes, will go to the BKB, but Na'Vi is the one initiating, and they're the ones dictating how the fights are going to go.
Oh, Na'Vi right now pushing the secondary tower top lane. Obviously, the secondary bottom was pushed in by Alliance, so Na'Vi trying to kind of do a trade in a sense. And, well, the living armor's making it a little more difficult, that with the fortification especially, but feels like that they should be able to take this out in the end. I don't know if Alliance is necessarily looking to defend it too much. They are trying to push also the middle tier 1 right here.
The Alliance really wants someone to come defend this tier 1, but Na'Vi don't really care. Like, they have successfully taken all of your outer towers again against a Treant Protector, and so you lose a mid tier 1, whatever, life goes on. And honestly, Alliance don't even want to commit for it now that they've already lost their top tier 2. They don't know where Na'Vi are going now, and they're just going to back off. The Illusions will finish off the tier 1 in the end.
Back to farm we go. The Rod of Atos for Enigma is almost finished, so gonna be another nice tool to have once again. Crystal Maiden actually picked up that Shadow Amulet to finish his own Glimmer Cape. Another nice tool to have as far as utility goes. Bat Rider, his own BKB as we talked about, is also gonna be coming online. On the other side, Storm Spirit, he's now working on his own Linken's. He has another 1100 gold saved up following the Orchid here. He has, so Linken's, is that gonna be a solid item, you think? I guess really the Lasso initiation.
Yeah, it means that Dendi wants to be more teamfight than pickoff, which, you know, sometimes at 26 minutes, when you have every outer tower of the enemy, you're wanting to build more pickoff-oriented. And now Seneko invading high ground.
That he is. He's going to be bashed out, though. Leaf Seed applied. Support's not really going in. I mean, it's an uphill into a shrine, so it's a dangerous place to fight for sure. Wukong's command comes out, though, and Loda, he has to fall back out of it. They do catch Crystal Maiden somewhat as Dendi goes pretty YOLO right here, but Dendi's in a bad spot now. They might kill him. The sleep comes out. They want to set this up. Jonas Ben going for the black hole. He black holes on a couple of targets in the back of the sleep. Still up, though. What is up? The sleep was still on that whole time, so the black hole essentially does nothing. Dendi's able to escape. Monkey King does go down, but so does the Bat Rider. Sloppiness continues for Alliance when it comes to communication. Buyback from Bat Rider, though. though. They did not want to end this fight on a sour note right here. EGM, he may end up dropping. Yes, the Wave of Terror helping to finish him off, General. With that Iron Shell trying to run backwards. They can take out Loda right here. Nice ice path on both. Loda, he's in trouble. Dendy flies back in and gonna finish the job as he takes him out for certain. Dendy now, he wants more damage. He's gonna go for the Bat Rider. Bat Rider looking to help finish off another, though. General is picked up in the background, and Dendy does fall as Jonas Fan, that is, comes in to secure it. But, I mean, so at least they clean up on it, Denny on the Storm Spirit at the final second, but that is inexcusable, man, from Alliance. That was just, I don't know.
There's... the only thing I can think of is if Loda was silenced, but that's not possible because Dendy was slept the entire time, and so I can't think of any other reason why you wouldn't be able to cancel that sleep. The fact that the black hole comes out, like, sometimes if you're going for very delicate timing, like, you know, the famous Ravage into sleep or something like that, yeah, it can be kind of difficult to time the sleep, but black hole is guaranteed no matter what, because it's, you know, it's crowd controlling the entire time it's out. They have to buy back the Bat Rider as a result. Dendy not only got out, but was able to pick off, I believe, the Treant Protector after he was almost certainly dead, and now all these cooldowns are down, and they're going to be able to get Roche.
They're going for it, and yep, Denny will pick up that Aegis.
Oh, wow.
So.
Actually, the Radiance Burn finished it off.
Well,
that's crazy.
That's something at least, the Dire.
That's something, yeah.
Laugh about that, and a little bit of extra bounty there, but again, the big tool of that Aegis is what's picked up by Dendy, and that's overall still a victory in my mind for Na'Vi, of course, but Alliance at least getting a little bit something out of it. But yeah, I mean, you think back to the last fight, and like I said, it ended okay at least, but that was setting up to just be a big fight for them. And something else I kind of noticed as I was breaking out too was you could tell Jonas Fan was a little uncertain of where he wanted to go with the black hole, because he almost wanted to go towards Storm Spirit because they would have loved to guarantee the kill on him off of that, but then he's like, but there's more over here, so then he kind of positioned over there, and eventually the black hole came out, and it just, again, seemed like it was probably pretty chaotic in whatever voice chat they decided to use as my point. So
I'm sure it was, especially because Dendy's positioning was impeccable for that fight. So initially Seneca was, you know, baiting, and everyone, all 10 players knew that it was a bait, because the Alliance were like, look, there's no way a Monkey King is going to stay on our shrine high ground for this long unless his entire team is behind him. And so eventually Seneca went into Wukong's command, and Alliance was like, alright, screw it, we have to take this fight now, as now Enigma is going to get caught in mid lane silence.
Yeah, BKB, but wouldn't even get the chance to use it at that point, probably would have been a lost cause, and it's a nice pickoff from Na'Vi.
Eidolon's killed the courier, so that's something. They keep getting these influxes of cash that they don't really intentionally want, or don't intentionally mean to get. Like, yeah, the Roche kill, now a random courier snipe, but
nothing on it at least.
And now Na'Vi want to look at high ground. It's a difficult proposition though. You've got to deal with Firefly, and whenever you're going, like, even though Treant was not able to heal any of the outer towers, he will be able to heal this tier 3 guaranteed, and so you have to not only win a fight, but you need to completely discourage Alliance from doing anything near their high ground, otherwise you can't chip it away. Not even though you have, like, Liquid Fire, you can't chip it away.
Basher, obviously on Monkey King, as we kind of saw in that last fight too, that is such a key item to have, is always on a Monkey King, and that makes that Wukong's command that much scarier, that much more deadly to fight into here. You are Alliance, and so even though they have nice wombo combo setup, if that Wukong's command goes off, it's extra difficult, and that's just another way too for that Enigma could eventually be stopped with the BKB. So again, it really goes back to this earlier BKB pickup of Enigma, and questioning the idea of it even more as the game has progressed on right here. But has it to now go with that Rod of Atos. Looking for another setup to be had. I mean, Naga does continue to be on top of the charts. No surprise there, really. She's up to 16.5k net worth. The Octarine Core is coming, but it seems like Na'Vi definitely looking good themselves, and reasons to be confident once again as well. So this game, it's just as hoped for and as expected, almost you could say. You know, it's turning out to be a great game that is still undetermined in terms of which way it's leaning towards. It's back and forth. Anything can happen still here in game number 1.
Yeah, you can never really confidently count out a Naga no matter how bad the game looks, especially when you have a Treant Protector on her back. You can, you know, same thing with like a Caudal Naga, or any strong way of keeping your structures alive, plus a hero that perpetually keeps all the lanes pushed. It's a real, it takes a lot to be able to close out the game. Now, there are a lot of things that can go wrong for Na'Vi, because you also have the big teamfight ultimates of Overgrowth. You can get plucked out by a lasso, and then obviously Black Hole is the coup de grace to finish off their teamfight capabilities on Alliance. But if Na'Vi, Dendi going in on EGM silence.
We have a follow-up though, and there's support from Alliance nearby. He is going to pop the Overgrowth, doing a lot of damage, but EGM will be able to walk it off. Again, committing an Overgrowth to it, but at least he survives for another 80 seconds now, so it's not the longest cooldown ability. Ideally, we'll be up before another fight breaks out here.
Yeah, right now Dendi still has 1 more minute left on this Aegis. He wouldn't have cared if he died there and forced Alliance into a deeper position, but Alliance are playing it very disciplined. They don't want to have to commit to anything.
Monkey King gonna get caught initially. The vacuum trying to save him with the wall though, but Seneko, yeah, he's in a bad spot now. Wukong's command, at least he gets it off, but no, it's not gonna matter. He goes down right after. And that's a gem
gives up a
drop as
gem.
well.
Yep. So already Alliance had a gem, so it's not like it's a massive boost for them. And seeing as how Na'Vi are pretty confidently in the lead, they have tons of vision on the Radiant side, and I don't really know when Batrider will feel confident, you know, starting to de-ward, but Na'Vi losing that gem definitely is a setback. So it's difficult to know what to do as Na'Vi in this situation, because you have no way of sieging high ground. You need to get a pick. And it's difficult to get a pick because Storm Spirit is your most farmed hero. You don't really have like a traditional one position who's very safe by themselves. Like Pycat did, in fact, as you mentioned, go for that kind of defensive build with the Hood, which is something that I've been seeing more and more of. Not necessarily on core Venge, but on Vengefuls in general. Like the Hood into oftentimes the Solar Crest, but this time Pycat went for Midas Pike. It makes you very, very tanky, but you also don't deal very much damage. And now he's going to be all alone as Limp, smoked up, finds him.
Gonna be a free kill for Alliance, but the follow-up is not really there initially. Takes a while to get here, and now TPs are coming in, but I figure, yeah, it's going to be canceled, no doubt. He swaps out, trying to hope to buy some distance and time, but not going to be enough. He's dead for a good 65 seconds, no
Monkey
buyback.
King.
And he is going to net the Monkey King, who would also not have a buyback. He's unable to TP out, and just like that, Navi's down 2 heroes with no buyback for 50 seconds.
And so they have a pretty good position to be able to push tier 2. Loda's going to start pushing out bot instead. And the Aegis for Storm Spirit is down, so Dendi's going to cut the creep wave mid, but it looks like Alliance know that their creep wave is further out bot, and so they're going to go in. They have Black Hole still.
The pressure on. Yeah, they do, and so yeah, Na'Vi has to be really scared about defending this, because in fact, there we go, there's the last initiation. Now, can they really make a counterplay on this? He's going to go for Enigma. Is Dendi in the backlines? He gets a vacuum wall combination off meat wall, but Dendi has to keep his distance. And they take out Jakira. Now Darkseer's actually going to be rooted up by the net once again as well. The freeze comes out. He also is going to fall off. So they're getting picked off one by one as Na'Vi. Seems like right here. And now the resurrections are going to start happening, but Alliance going to overall be pretty satisfied with how that played out. They don't get the objective necessarily, but they get plenty of hero kills.
They were pretty skeptical if they would. I mean, they weren't really trying to go for the objective. You just want to create pressure and force out Na'Vi into some sort of reaction, which they got in spades. I mean, they were able to lasso the Darkseer, and that's what started it all off, and it could have been even more disastrous. Unfortunately, Loda didn't have the mana for sleep, and so Enigma never really got a good setup. Otherwise, they would have definitely gone on the Storm Spirit as soon. Oh, Limp TP's out. No, Blink's out.
That was well played right there. Yes,
they're still pursuing.
BKB, yeah, it's going to be wearing off here. Dendi's really going deep, but now he's low on mana.
Oh, lasso pop with the Lincolns.
He does actually have some wand charges to use though as well, and yeah, and there he's going to pop them, and they get the kill in the Batrider. That's a gem drop, and
sleep steal.
But now comes a sleep. Where's Jonas
Swap
Fan?
Your slots.
Jonas Fan is coming. He doesn't have a blink though. It's going to take forever to get here, and they are going to be unslept now. But Jonas Fan's still running in. Out comes the Wukong's command though. Now you have to be careful. Then he goes right for Crystal Maiden up to the top. Loda going to split out the Radiance Burn doing. Where's Jonas Fan? He may be giving off here. No, he's not going to go for it just yet. Freezing Fill will help finish off the Vengeful. The gem drops in return. Seneko holding his ground in top of the Wukong's command. They take out the Triad. They pull it with the vacuum. Jonas Fan says, all right, now's the time. He only gets the one, though. Onto the Monkey King, so at least going to secure onto him. And the rest of Na'Vi will fall back. So, Alliance, I think you can argue they definitely come out on top there. Another chaotic fight coming out.
Yeah, I believe they ended up finally recovering that gem that the Batrider dropped, which initially seemed like what started it all off. Loda... Actually, did they end up getting the gem? No. Wait. Where's the gem? Oh, the courier has
Courier
it.
has it.
Oh yeah, there are 2 gems in the Alliance base right now. Yeah, so end up getting away with it. And yeah, Jonas and Pam was only able to black hole 1, but that's not really that big of a deal. You managed to kill off, you know, the Vengeful Spirit. If you kill off the Jakiro, so what? Ideally, he would have liked the Darkseer, but Darkseer was staying way the hell back. Just enough to give the Pipe aura and the Greaves aura, but not enough to actually commit into the fight. And yeah, yet again, Alliance are making their way back into this game. I mean, they have a net worth advantage. The structures don't look too great in their favor, but it's not really that big of a deal because you have a Treant Protector, and so really, until you start losing tier 3s, you are in good shape.
Choice of Diffusal picked up by Naga-san right here. Dendi, who went for the Bat Rider, couldn't get him though. Limp's looking for a turn play. Blinking 1. He's going for the TP. Where the hell did he go? That was funny.
He went way, yeah. He was long gone, and he has a Lincoln Sphere as well. And now going for a Bloodthorn to finish off his Orchid, so... Yeah, Dendi is still definitely very, very comfortable right now. He has only died twice in the entire game, and so... Every single time that Na'Vi have been trading kills and giving up kills, Dendi's been missing for the most part. And now they're going in for Roche.
Yeah, it's so hard though.
Very hard. The only advantage that you have right now is Black Hole's down for 30 seconds, but Sleep is up. And that is something you constantly need to be concerned about. Oh,
Sleep
wow.
into an Overgrowth is still strong too, but there we go. The Overgrowth though hits 3 heals, maybe even 4. Ice Path Wukong's command to zone them out, but the sleeping turn from Loda, so 1 turn after the other. Jonas fan that Black Hole still has 10 more seconds before it's coming off cooldown, so a very defensive sleep right there, and they will back off from it. They're gonna go right back into the Roshan pit. I hear Jenny's still flying around back here. Just killing illusions off though, but Loda, yeah, they're not gonna get a free Roshan here by any means.
No.
It almost seems like a moot point for Na'Vi to try to constantly do this Roshan. And
yeah, they have the capabilities to push out the wave. They don't need to be able to be this panicky about Roche. I mean, now Black Hole is up, and Sleep with Octarine cooldown. Octarine Core is such a short cooldown, just 45 seconds, so it's up again. Na'Vi have better things to do than go for this Roche, in my opinion, and so they're gonna back off. But the problem is now you've taken Roche like a quarter HP off, and Alliance might think about doing it, so you basically just put the idea into their head.
Yeah. Limp, he's still looking for that target, his own BKB, 9 seconds. Duration on it with that gem, of course. Hunting for somebody to Loda, using those illusions to continue to scout and be a nuisance here, but seems like they're going to be a little bit too far to get caught by any lasso. But here comes that split push that you're talking about, Seneko and Pycat upwards up towards the top lane over here. They're going to keep Alliance distracted somewhat, but again, Enigma Black Hole is good to go. Song, it is off cooldown. With the Octarine having level 3 Song, it's only a 45-second cooldown now, so yeah, that's going to be ready to go pretty much every fight for the Naga Siren at this point. That's something you can't really play around.
And even the possibilities of split pushing by Na'Vi are going to get harder and harder. Naga Siren is, like, she has BOTs, so her illusions just zoom across the map, and you can be really anywhere on the map and push out all 3 lanes at the same time. And so it's like you want to take a team fight as Na'Vi, but at the same time you don't, because there's so many ultimates you need to be concerned about. You want to get a pick off, but Alliance are doing a really good job at protecting all of their heroes. They're basically effectively 5-manning for the most part, and it kind of looks like they want to smoke, as they're all grouping up on their shrine area.
Yeah, do they have one? I'm looking across.
Okay, Handskin just bought one, yeah.
I don't have any on them currently, though.
No, but they know that Na'Vi don't have vision because they have Limp's gem, whereas Na'Vi have not been able to purchase another gem yet, so even though the warding advantage is in the favor of Na'Vi, the fact that they don't know where Alliance's wards are is a bit of a setback.
One at the top lane up there, but there we go. Here comes the smoke play. Now it's a turn for Alliance. Will they maybe sneak in a Roshan? Nope, they're going to try to get a kill out of this. And Limp again leading the way as that Bat Rider. For a lasso target, maybe Pycat. He does have a Lincoln's though, so a little more difficult. Wants to go for though, pause with the force, exactly what the Yules to encounter from Fiverr as he was there. Ice Path comes out, here we go. Song, not gonna be happening just yet. Denny's flying around on the back lines, and Limp, it looks like he may get picked up. No, he barely survives. Nice Glimmer Cape save. And the Song is activated from Naga as they're running away. They're all gonna be TPing out here. Dendi, he tries to fly in and catch somebody at the tail end of it, but it's not in time. Good attempt though. Might as well, but full-on retreat from Alliance.
Yeah, and they don't really find anything, and they have to spend a few BKBs to do that. Enigma's BKB is down to 5 seconds, Bat Rider's BKB is actually 8 seconds, so that was just the second usage from Limp, but yeah, that smoke failed, and now they're scanned out, and now that all these ultimates are down, aside from Black Hole, Na'Vi are feeling confident. And seeing as how Enigma doesn't have a Blink Dagger, yeah, this Rosh is coming down very quickly.
5 seconds on the Song, so they get the Roshan, Denny picks it up. This timer's coming out, but Loda, Song is ready.
Man.
She's gonna try to get somebody to do catch. That's huge. Now where's Vengeful? Vengeful's over here.
Away.
He could swap.
Yeah,
here we go, the BKB with the Black Hole, and they're just gonna drop way too quickly. The swap is not in time. And now Vengeful's great, has to keep his distance. Overgrowth is popped as well. Dendy gonna get locked down. He gets bashed actually coming out of it with an Alpha Stun. However, it looks like he's gonna be able to zip zap away and survive in the long run. Seneko, not the same story. They do catch him. And good catch from Alliance overall. So they give up Roshan, but they take the Aegis away immediately.
Tower is under attack.
I'm surprised that Pycat backed out so far. It's not like anyone on Alliance had like a silence or something to stop him from swapping the Enigma. And so, I mean, it's possible they would have been able to save the Storm Spirit, but you'd be trading the VS for that. And it looks like now people are like, whatever, Storm Spirit has an Aegis, they're going in, pops the Lincolns.
They know cooldowns aren't ready. Well, guess what? The Naga Sleep is. Again, it's only 45 seconds, so it's almost deceptively short, even though they played against it plenty. It's going to catch them again, but she is somewhat alone. She has a little bit of teammates right here. Storm Spirit actually gets rooted out because he went so far, but EGM, he's left behind, and they're just simply trying to retreat this whole time as Alliance.
She's on Dendy.
Wow, Dendy for real wants this, man. Limp is nearby, and he's going to chase after Naga Siren. The swap comes out offensively, and Naga will be picked off in the end, so the pursuit does pay off for Na'Vi right there.
I'm not 100% sure if Lotus BOT was on cooldown or something, but there was really no reason to be able to... Like, you can't expect to outrun a Storm Spirit just with the sleep. You're not going to create enough distance that he's going to run out of mana, especially since Dendy had cheese. He had picked up that Aegis and backpacked the cheese and showed it off in that fight, and so down goes Loda. He has buyback and may need to spend it, as Train Protector is also down, so they're not going to be able to put living armor on this tower to stall out the push.
Ward placed in the base. We're not be right here to get a good idea of who's where, and get a Enigma Black Hole, 25 more seconds to cool down. They're going to catch Crystal Maiden right off the bat. Lasso, though, they're bringing in the Storm Spirit. The Wukong's command very aggressive right here. Going to pull back Dendy, however, as the sleep used away in the background from Loda. Now locks down Dendy, but he's going to fly out so shortly after it ends. Reviver now caught as well. He's proven to be somewhat tanky, but he should be able to be picked up. As yeah, throws out the macro fire, so screw it, might as well do what I can. They do catch him, but they save Dendy. That's what matters here on the Storm Spirit. As he's back up to 18 charges, and again, he's obviously well beyond. He's been 25 for a while. I'm kind of looking at that here, but he also chooses to get the 0.75 second Electric Vortex. Belling up here, by the way. At 25.
Yeah, I can understand that. The fact that you need to be able to, like, you need as many seconds of disable on this Naga Siren, otherwise she's gonna sleep. You need as much time of disable on this Enigma, otherwise he's gonna BKB and then Black Hole. And so, it's not rare, I mean, it's not often that you'd see it, especially seeing as how, again, Na'Vi don't really have a great damage dealer. VS has not really been able to deal very much damage in this game. Even though a full Mjolnir is completed on Pycat, it's just never really able to find an opening to just hit people. It's always, the fights are bouncing around all over the place, and so I can understand why Dendy did in fact go for the Vortex, but in the end, Alliance did have to buy back the Naga Siren, and apparently earlier Monkey King had bought back, and so I guess that was during the Tier 2 siege of Alliance that Seneko bought back on the Monkey King, but a Monkey King buyback isn't nearly as important as a Naga Siren buyback, which she will be 6-slotted eventually. She still needs to get a Moon Shard, and then the Diffusal Recipe 2, maybe BOT2s, and then after that Lotus pretty much slotted out. You can get like a refresher in your backpack if you really need it, but yeah, Naga Siren's farm isn't as critical, so both these buybacks not necessarily game deciding by any means.
Okay, this is game 1, guys, here in this best out of 3 winner bracket finals for the European Summit 7 qualifiers. And you know, the beginning of surely to be a great series overall, as we're 46.5 minutes into this game, and it goes back to there's still no clear sign of which team is ultimately going to be pulling ahead. Obviously, Alliance has the advantage right now, you could argue, the 4,000 net worth, and the Naga Siren continuing to get bigger and better farm. In fact, the Butterfly just finished a lot of ultimate cooldowns, but we've seen Na'Vi put up some big fights here. And Storm Spirit has definitely been able to pick off heroes in the back lines. The Monkey King, as far as his presence with the Wukong's command and the Skull Basher alone, does plenty, so... But it is a defensive game right now for Na'Vi that they're continuing to have to play here. No doubt. So Alliance looking for another chance as far as catching somebody out. But they're also going to be slow about it. They're not gonna rush into the base by any means. In fact, another Roshan. Gonna be surprised if yet again we wait for that here.
Yeah, both teams still have a lot of room to grow. Storm Spirit actually completes out a BKB, and BKB is an interesting item this game because either sometimes you'll be able to survive through some sort of evacuation sleep, so if Naga Siren is like, okay, we're losing the fight, I need sleep, we need to get out, then BKB is going to be extremely profitable. But if Dendi initiates with a BKB, and right now, like, both heroes are at, like, I mean, both teams are at full HP, then Naga can just, you know, start out the sleep, and there's a lot of ways to be able to lock Dendi down. You get the... Oh no, it's an illusion. You go on the... You get the overgrowth, and then Dendi is kind of stuck. You can pop the Lincolns, and then get a frostbite on him. After the BKB times out, oh, lasso onto the... Oops, nice swap to break it.
A swap to break it, and gonna run away. Dendi's porting in, so... Yeah, Alliance, they're being very careful throughout this game as far as overcommitting. They are gonna fall back, and let it be done. Again, they still have Black Hole, they still have Sleep. EGM still has Overgrowth, but he gets caught right here. The Ice Path, Glimmer Cape though with the Forest Staff, and then there's a Lotus Orb even coming out as well. So a lot of these tools, as we're now 48.5 minutes into this game on either side, is making it very difficult to secure pickoffs here. We're constantly seeing, and that's going to be a Shrine Pop even, so again, look back at the Roshan pit. Still got a little bit before, but as that comes up here, now going to be a point of contention. Enigma choosing to get a Octarine Core. And actually, so this is something to talk about as, well, maybe catch coming out here. Monkey really going deep. They want Crystal Maiden. They may get it. Glimmer Cape comes out. In response, Flame Break pushback, and the Sleep going to be used. So they really want to save the Crystal Maiden. BKB pop by Jonas Fan. And it's only 5 seconds anyway, so he figures just to make sure to get the hell on out of there. But Ice Path will now catch EGM. Waving Tear enhanced damage, and they will finish the job finally. Overgrowth used. But he's dead for 60, so Na'Vi maybe a pick that they're looking for. Can they capitalize on it, though?
It's difficult. Naga's still perpetually pushing it out, and Jonas and Fan didn't spend Black Hole during that fight, and so it's you need to pick off at least, like, 2 or probably even 3 heroes if you're Na'Vi before you can even think about pushing high ground, and that's if all these ultimates are also spent. Without that, you're just kind of trying to re-establish a net worth advantage. You're trying to make sure that these BKB cooldowns are whittling down, things like that. But yeah, it's as the game progresses, it gets harder and harder for Na'Vi to finally breach high ground. And right now, Loda is sitting on 5k gold. He has a handful of options of what to go for next. Could go for the Refresher, could go for the Moon Shard, could go for Talisman of Evasion. Huh.
Yeah.
Huh. I don't really know why. I mean, Halberd is pretty great against, like, a Vengeful Spirit because it lasts longer against ranged heroes, and so Vengeful Spirit won't be able to attack for a good 5.5 seconds, but are you really concerned about Vengeful right now? I feel like... I don't know. I'm
like
curious
well, that's not kind of... Is maybe like a backpack, just... Because obviously he's at the point where he's full slotted pretty much. Just like a backpack item in itself that he can kind of swap in, use for the disarm, and swap out.
Yeah, that's a possibility. I mean, that's the only thing I can think of that you would do with this, but I don't know, all of his items are pretty valuable on the hero, and all of his items are valuable on the illusions as well. Every single one of these are, like, you know, the illusions benefit from all these items, except technically they don't really get that much benefit out of the Octarine Core, but you can't back... Oh, lasso. Onto the Storm Spirit, into Overgrowth.
Finish the job, the Overgrowth comes out.
And Snare's rooting him for BKB.
But he's still rooted through it. Storm Spirit, he's dropping his Sleep as well. They really want this kill, but they're not going to get it.
Cuts down.
He zips out the way once again. And now here comes a freezing field on top of the Black Hole. Jakiro and Monkey King caught in the midst of it. So they will get a couple of casualties who do not have buybacks, by the way. But they couldn't get the raid boss, that is Storm Spirit, as he flies back to base. But yeah, still getting those couple of picks. At least Alliance has to be satisfied with that. And Roshan, it's going to be a nice transition here. Oh, they want the Vengeful, though.
Oh, and they know. She's on the run, but Naga's so fast, and Snare pops the Lincolns.
Push back. The Lincoln's off. No lasso, but Dandy's like, no, you're not going to take my teammate. Unfortunately, they will, and now he has to fly on out of there. and try not to get caught himself. Blink Dagger up into 1, but he is just a little bit too far away. Knows that distance, so he'll survive. But again, back to the Roshan pit. I'm sure now we're going to see it happen. And this should be a free Roshan for Alliance.
Yeah, and I honestly don't really know who you give it to. I mean, like, ideally you want to give it to Naga, but she's pretty heavily slotted out, and having to give up boots is a bit of a setback. I guess she could put up the Diffusal Blade. It's not really too critical at this stage of the game. But I don't know. I mean, either way, this is still great opening for Alliance, and they can very easily push high ground. While Na'Vi were struggling with it, Alliance have no issues whatsoever with pushing high ground.
Yeah, if anything, it's just also kind of a takeaway to Na'Vi. Last thing we want to do is give it to that Storm Spirit. God, everyone. Alright, we get it, guys. We get what time it was.
Alright, so Aegis goes the way of Batrider, allows him to initiate a little bit more freely, have more confidence with having to save his cooldowns just to be able to disable someone, and Cheese is going to be on Enigma for right now, and this is a tanky-ass Enigma. 3k HP. Went for that 12 armor talent at level 25, which a handful of level 25s are coming online now, and so Vengeful Spirit will go from left to right. Went for Magic Missile pierces spell immunity as opposed to 20 Vengeance Aura, which I can understand. Again, time and time again, no one is really right-clicking on Na'Vi, so why bother buffing up Vengeance Aura? So get the spell immunity, be able to stun the Batrider and the Enigma through BKB. It's going to be very useful. Storm Spirit, as we said earlier, went for that Vortex duration. Darkseer, actually not level 25 yet. Enigma, as we said, went for that armor. Batrider went for Firefly duration, which is pretty typical, and there's really very few reasons to go for the Flame Break AoE in this game, and Naga Siren actually not level 25 yet, which is surprising, but actually both options are pretty solid. I imagine she'll go for the move speed, seeing as how, you know, you're only caring about high ground. More illusions won't really help you out too much, unless they just want to siege with them.
By the way, look at her
Double
inventory.
Butterfly.
Yeah.
Double Butterfly, okay. I mean, I like it because, dare I say it one more time, no one really right-clicks on Na'Vi, and so, you know, if you are not able to kill these illusions with what little right-click you have, then they will just continually munch on your tower, which actually leads me to believe that he might go for the Mirror Image illusion +1 talent at 25, because, yeah, there is very little that Na'Vi can do against it.
Yeah.
The only flip side is that Monkey King, True Strike, Boundless Strike will be able to hit all the illusions regardless of how much evasion you have, but I don't think that's going to be enough to clear them out.
Clearly it's not enough of a concern, and so yeah, that's almost like a commitment to, if anything, that Alliance exactly. They're just going to play the very slow, methodical game.
The very Alliance style of game.
Very Alliance style. Definitely, I think that is a good way to put it. Just constantly push it. Let the illusions win you this game, basically, is what they're going to do. They're not here to be the most spectacular in terms of, you know, winning over the fans. Well, they already have plenty, of course, but...
No, they made their fans. This is how they made their name in the game.
True.
This is what the fans want.
It's winning Dota, that's for sure. That's what they're trying to do right here in game 1, so... Yep, that's...
God, these evasions.
It's ridiculous, yeah, like, this illusion, like, it's chasing down Viper into the base.
Evade,
how long it's taking, yeah. It's absurd.
I mean, normally a lot of times you want to go like Heart or something like that on Naga Siren, but why bother if they can't kill them with right clicks and they don't have enough magic damage? As now I'm curing like a perpetual vortex sound. Yeah, they have to use freaking Bloodthorn True Strike to be able to finish these things off.
And it's 8,200 gold, by the way, so it doesn't load up. Like, he could try to get another one.
Oh, lasso on the Darkseer, swap.
There's a swap. So breaks it immediately.
Doesn't matter. Tier 3 bot took a good third of damage. Let's do it again. Only had to spend 1 cooldown. No big deal.
Yeah, with all this, it's actually a little surprising that they haven't sieged yet. The fact that this is the first Tier 3 to almost fall in this game is kind of crazy, but Alliance, again, being very slow about it, but it's just eventually going to happen. Just constantly sending the illusions. A couple minutes later, this will be a dead Tier 3.
And there's nothing that Na'Vi can really do about it. None of their heroes, their whole team can't really, like, flank Alliance because the threat of the sleep is perpetual, and you only have one hero that has BKB, which is the Storm Spirit. So if he's the only hero in commission during a sleep, then he will almost certainly die. We saw how important that Ensnare going through the BKB was for Dendi near that Radiant Shrine as he almost died there, but if he's the only hero who can deal with it, then Alliance have no qualms whatsoever about continuing this. They go for another lasso.
Now BKB Pop Lotusaur comes up as well. It'll be fine, but a little scary right there. He didn't even activate the lasso. By the way, Loda, that's kind of interesting. Obviously, Illusion Rune at this point probably is the most powerful rune you get for him, and so he actually went and picked one up, and then he actually bought a Moon Shard and ate it. So,
nice.
That as well. Not much more attack speed to work with. God, like, this has got to be so frustrating to play against. Not being, but...
Yep. But it's beautiful. It brings a tear to my eye.
Yeah.
This is what I wanted. I couldn't have asked for anything more Alliance-y. As now this tier 3 tower about to go down. They're gonna have to spend a few spells on it, but you're just delaying the inevitable.
He actually swaps in the level 2 Diffusive Blade.
Oh yeah, that is surprising.
One butterfly. Back to max charges, so perhaps wants to use it for that purpose.
And Aegis is now claimed. If you can believe it, we have been spending that much time, 5 minutes since the Roche was claimed, and so Enigma's not going to have that, but, you know, no big deal. And they're actually going to back off. Satisfied with the amount of damage that they were able to do to that tier 3, I guess they really needed that insurance of the Aegis to feel confident going for this, and it looks like Na'Vi felt the same way as they promptly smoked up after, yes, they all took the time, so they all know when that Aegis is going to go down.
Double damage rune going to be picked up by Limp, actually. Okay, so might as well grab it, and then them stealing it, so picks it up, but Alliance is definitely full on reset now and play the game of wait for yet another Roshan. So Na'Vi, yeah, I mean, you gotta think though, if you're Na'Vi, like obviously this is that window where you have to try to make a play of some sort. You can't just keep letting this happen to the inevitable death of your base. Sure, it'll be 30 to 40 minutes from now at this rate, but it's, you know, you got to make a play if you want to win this game. And Denny's trying to make that play, but he can't do it by himself.
No, most certainly can't. At least, I mean, he's pretty safe with the items that he has that he can go for these plays. As now Naga Siren does complete the heart. So, just a casual 5.5k gold item in his backpack, just chilling. But, yeah, I mean, he does go for the Mirror Image Illusion +1, so I don't think Alliance need to wait for the next Aegis, but they really have no reason not to, I guess, as their heroes are farming up pretty well. Limp just completed an Octarine core on this Bat Rider. Enigma has sitting on 2.5k gold. I don't really know what you go for next. I suppose a Refresher Orb is probably the best option, but Jonas and Fam is, oh no, he already has the Refresher Orb completed, so never mind.
So I'm working on that earlier, yeah, I meant to bring that up too, but just so mesmerized by all these illusions running around the map. Distracted.
It's poetry in motion. Oh, and an Arcane Rune. Oh, Limp takes it? Ah, I should have given it to Loda.
Yeah, even more.
Even more.
Dare he. Oh, Limp has it, and they're trying to catch somebody once again. Illusion scouting at a couple. Sleep.
That Rider lassos the Darkseer.
Oh, there. Yeah, so this is kind of awkward, but Black Hole setup.
Holding him back
this whole time. We got the Black Hole setup. Can he get all three? Yes, he can. He gets all three. The Wukong's command. But is it going to be stopped? Then maybe Denny's falling low. No, he does not fall low enough. He pops the Paul Lightning. Now he's flying around, zip-zapping around left and right. The BKB will have to get out, but they get the call to Vengeful Spirit. Monkey King trying to pour it out. That's not going to work, though. And he, too, will fall. They did kill Crystal Maiden in the back lines. Looks like they did not get Darkseer, however, as they were also working on him down there, as you mentioned. But you know what? They get to. There are buybacks, of course. They're probably going to have to use them here, though.
Yeah, not too heavy of commitment. Jonas and Fem immediately refresh the Black Hole. It's very lucky by Na'Vi that he was able to get bashed. I mean, then again, Wukong's command bashes. Does that really take that much luck?
Yeah.
But the fact that the Black Hole was not able to get the full duration, the Jakiro got out with barely any HP, the Stormsphere got out with barely any HP, and they should have almost certainly been dead, but they get out, only to have to suffer through a Naga Siren push. Is now lasso onto the Darkseer.
Pulling him in right here. He would have a buyback. There are the buybacks committed to. Song comes out as soon as
they have a
Denny runs in.
BKB ready.
There goes another Black Hole, by the way. Remember, he had the refresher. He's going to use it right here. The sleep is worn off. Storm Spirit, he's staying alive for the time being. Do they have enough damage follow-up? Again, they do not, though. He actually got stunned down in the back line by the Balanced Strike, I believe. The Overgrowth will catch him as well. But actually, EGM himself is trying to help save the Naga Siren. who was caught in the front lines as well. But Lotus Orb is up. He's going toe-to-toe with Pycat, and Pycat's actually winning that fight, it seems like, and Loda's gonna drop in the end. He's dead for 110 seconds. He would have a buyback if he wants, but Vengeful Spirit does not, however. And now Jonas and Fan being run down. There's the buyback from Loda, by the way. He is TPing back in, or trying to get here in time, but Crystal Maiden gonna be picked off. Loda gets here. No song for another 7 seconds, though. They are buyback committing.
Careful.
Dendy did buyback as well, but yeah, if Loda dies again, that would be key. In fact, Dendy, he's feeling good. 16
again.
charges now. He takes out EGM. Sleep is ready to go for Loda, as mentioned. There's the buyback on Dream Protector. And now it's Alliance's turn to run back in. No black hole for another 50 seconds, although refresher's up in 10 seconds right here. Lasso, it will catch somebody in the backline. That would be Hero, actually. But another Wukong's command coming out from Seneko. And Nagasiren's dropping. If he goes down, that is huge. Na'Vi, they're going to take out the raid boss right there. He's dead for 125 seconds right now. Another buyback coming out. Darkseer will. The refresher pop by Enigma. But the bash at the last second. He gets the black hole off. Lock it out, Storm Spirit. Is there the damage follow up? It doesn't look like there is. And Jonas and Fan's going down. Na'Vi may have just done it right there. No buybacks, and it's just limp alive. Okay, Crystal Maiden is up now, but oh my god.
Now
the buybacks were just insane.
This is the Classico that I know and love. 9 buybacks, I believe, is the final count, but it's the diebacks that are the most relevant thing. Nagasiren is dead for a good minute, and you have to keep in mind that no Raxes have been taken successfully on either side, so it's just vanilla creeps pushing in both lanes. Now, Dendy is pushing out mid by himself, while General is pushing out bot, and the Jakiro is making sure that top doesn't push in too much. But, General is coming back. I guess they can't do anything without the VS, but VS will have no, she doesn't have BOT money, so I don't really know how much they'll be able to get off of this.
Yeah, Dendy's gonna try, obviously, to get as much as they can, and gonna at least try to get the tier 3 right here. Limp, he's gonna make it difficult, though, by himself with that Firefly and putting the burn down, but the last thing he wants to do is get caught as well. So Vengeful does port in, by the way.
Oh, gets the BOTs,
bots,
okay.
Yeah.
So now they can do, well, they can do some serious damage now. They could go for tier 4s if they're crazy.
No, they're going to end this game. Absolutely. I don't even think that's crazy. This is their win condition, right? The last thing they want to do is kind of reset and have to deal with all that bullshit again. So they're going to go right for tier 4. And this is the game right here. Na'Vi, they're on the verge of winning it unless Crystal Maiden, Hanskin, and Limp can defend this right now. Here we go. Darkseer just jumps aggressively. Lasso to catch the Vengeful Spirit, but that's it. They're just focusing on the ancient. They don't even give 2 shits. Na'Vi has just done it. They won game 1 right here. What a comeback from Na'Vi to fight it out. The buyback galore, epic battle in the end, ends up being a victory for Na'Vi, and the El Clasico name lives up to it for sure. An hour victory in just game 1 of the series.